just so everybody knows what we're watching right now, the Dutch auction is currently in its geometric phase. So it's going from, I believe, 1000x down to 1.5x. So that happens over the course of, I think, 10 minutes. And then I think over the next 10 or 12 minutes, we go from 1.5x down to 1x. And right after we get to the middle point of the Dutch auction is where the bot should trade. So the bid amount and sell amount will be nearly equal when the bot fires its trade.
100 blocks. Each block is 8 seconds, right?
12, I think.
12 seconds.
Is it hard coded on the L2s at 8 seconds? Am I losing my mind?
Depends on the L2.
Fair enough. The
Optimus should be about 2 seconds. I believe base, it might be hard coded at 2 seconds.
Pretty hard coded too. Okay, so 8's just a number that I'm wrong about.
8's just, I don't know where you got that. Yeah. That's
very cool.
I think Arbitrum is 250 mils or something. It was spitting out blocks faster than you could see them, most of them empty. And actually, I don't think the sequence even had a speed limit.
You guys, I'm back. Did I miss anything? Did you guys already do the Dutch oven, or is it?
Dutch oven? No, the first trade is happening in a few minutes, or I guess in a minute or so. Failed? Why? Strange. Alright, the second one worked. Okay. No idea why that happened. Oh, I ran out of gas. That's dumb. It was expensive.
Okay, so we're through the first trade. Second trade in the geometric phase.
Yep. I'm just gonna make sure I don't run out of gas next time I do this. Yeah, no idea why that happened.
Share your whole screen, just so you know.
Yeah, it's fine. Alright, so
Alrighty.
that was one round of trading.
One down, 8 to go.
So, I mean, each of these trades are a bit expensive. I think I'll need some more ETH.
See, there's some comments in the chats. Have we actually explained what's going on here? I arrived a few minutes late. Sounds like nobody did.
I explained what was happening in the initial phase. I guess I don't know if we went into detail about the full rebalancing process.
Okay, well, I'll assume we gave that explanation and people are just cycling in and out till this time with a little description of what's going on here. So most zoomed out context first. This is the first showing of the Dutch auctions. The reason why the Dutch auctions are going to be better than batch auctions is that they remove capital requirements entirely. Anyone can write some code to borrow some tokens from Balancer and a flash loan and swap in various pools and then trade against the protocol and then repay their loan in Balancer in order to rebalance the protocol. The way that they're currently parameterized in EUSD is a 30-minute Dutch auction that has 4 different phases. The 4 phases are not mutable. You don't have control over them. When you're deploying a new R token, this is hard-coded into the Dutch auction price curve. And we've alluded to these a little bit by calling them by these names. The first phase is the geometric phase. It's the first 20% of the auction. The price falls very steeply from a very high price, and this is a period where we don't expect to receive a bid. It actually only exists to deal with a real corner case that can arise when you have a meta protocol sitting on top of other DeFi protocols, and essentially a read-only reentrancy vulnerability in the underlying DeFi protocol tricks your meta protocol into behaving poorly. We've seen this happen with curve pools various times, and basically the reason why this first phase exists is just to handle that sort of zero-day vulnerability that we've seen appear. We've had a few, dry runs of what this looks like now in crypto on the days that it happens. So that's why that first phase exists. Most projects wouldn't have a phase like this. We're just particularly paranoid, say. We'll call it security minded, though. It's a good thing. So then phase 2, next 20%. This is from 20% to 40% of the auction. It's falling from 1.5x the best price. And now I'm capitulating some stuff Patrick's already shared, to just a little above, or actually just to the best plausible price, sort of the best price we could get given what oracles are saying. And then phase 3 is the actual, where you expect bids to take place. This is from 45% of the auction to 95%. And this falls from the best plausible price based on oracles to the worst plausible price. Generally the kinds of thing you're expecting to see here is something like for a USD stablecoin to stablecoin trade, it's going to be something like a 1.015 to 0.99, that wrong, 5. But yeah, about a 1.5% swing in either direction. And then there's just some blocks at the very end of the auction where the price is just stable at the worst price. And the idea there is to handle the case where bots are not online and a human is actually using the UI to register to bid. So that's what Yen was showing earlier, the register, and anyone can go there and watch this current auction themselves. When you do arrive on that page, make sure you tab over to Dutch auctions, not batch auctions. That's where it's ongoing. And yeah, each of these auctions are really long. They take 30 minutes. We don't expect the bid to occur till about minute 15 or 16. And the reason why it's so long is for the price to be more precise when it clears. If you think these are like discrete price drops every block, if that drop is too large, then the protocol might end up taking some slippage just because no one was able to bid at a higher price, because they're only able to bid at the granularity of the blocks. So that's what's going on here. We have a lot of auctions to get through. That was cool to see the first one. I've actually never seen that myself. And everything that's happening today, someone could just write some code and do it without any capital. That's what's so cool. And also we'll be open sourcing, I believe. Already it is open sourced. The smart contract at the end to do this.
Oh yeah, it's on a branch on the protocol repo, so anyone can go and have a look.
The other advantage of Dutch auctions over batch auctions is you can enter a world where it's like self-interested profit seekers drive the protocol forward in time of their own accord. Kind of don't end up in that world with batch auctions because you kind of have this like cold start problem of who's going to pay to start the auction. Whereas during rebalancing for Dutch auctions, it's like once the thing is rebalancing, it just keeps going. And people make a little bit of money on every single trade, which is, further decentralization protocol. Next bid should be happening just about now.
A few more blocks.
Was away from my computer. Was anything going on?
We completed
We had the
one
first.
We completed one round of trading.
Taylor, were you saying that people could do flash loans for this auction system? Is that what you were saying?
Yeah, this one, it's actually working via Flash Loan right now. So that transaction link that I shared in chat, you can scroll up and click on. See one of under the 3 steps that it shows, it's this large, but the very first step of all the ERC20 tokens transferred is from a balancer vault out, and then the very final step is back in the balancer vault. It's all via Flash Loan.
Interesting. What do you think of this seems like a pretty cool moment for you guys, right?
I mean, we're definitely, like I said before, I'm pleased that now there will be self-interested actors moving the protocol forward instead of these batch auctions, which were a bit more clunky. People didn't really know how to interact with. These Dutch auctions are things that MEV searchers are used to. So we're just like tapping into this massive solver searcher community where people are going to find the best paths for the protocol to rebalance without us really having to do anything great.
Do you think that, so this will not use the Gnosis interface at all? It's exactly, a step beyond that. Okay.
Yeah, that's a fallback.
Human driven versus machine driven.
Yeah, I mean, you can still bid in this as a human. It just happens to be something that's like really good for a bot because it's like which block do you want to get your bid in, right? But yeah, the fallback now is the batch auctions.
Nice, good work.
They see these Dutch
really
auctions need to know a like rough price estimate because they need to know what curve to use, like what numbers should they traverse. Whereas the batch auctions, you don't need to know anything about the price the 2 tokens are trading. So there's some real corner cases, like a token's oracle goes offline, and in that instance, you're not going to be able to use the Dutch auction. You can only use a batch auction. Sort of why we started with the batch. Yeah, sure.
If the oracle
batch
goes
auctions
offline,
don't need to know roughly, they don't need to have any estimate of the value of the tokens in a batch auction. Whereas a Dutch auction, you sort of have to know what's my initial price and what's my ending price. And if the true price is outside that range, the auction isn't going to work.
Interesting. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, so that's why batch auctions first. They handle all the cases, but now we're sort of dealing with the typical case. So that's why the Dutch auctions exist. But yeah, this takes forever. Another down half an hour per auction. But again, this is why humans aren't really part of it in the long term. It's just cool to watch it the first time it is out.
So somebody was calling this the Dutch oven before. That's not correct, right? It's Dutch auction.
Yeah, it's Dutch auction.
I'm curious. Is this system on Base as well? Like
yes, sir.
Base high yield USD. Okay. So so that leads me to the next question of, are there the same like revenue thresholds that exist for this system as exist there? Like, can you just run auctions, basically very, very fast all the time?
Yeah, so you definitely, the min trade volume, that's the variable that referring to sort of the friction rating, is set per R token by deployer and then governance after. So I'm checking USD on base, right?
Your voice activation threshold, I think, is a little bit too high. You cut out when you're talking. Sorry.
Yeah. There we go.
I don't mean to be
Should be better
picky.
now. No. That's very important. So base, the variable that you're thinking about there is called the min trade volume, sort of the friction for trading, right? What's the smallest amount you're down to trade? And that is set per R token. Every R token has a different one, with the idea being the ones on base can have a lot lower. I was just trying to pull up what it's set to for high yield USD on base. Looks like it's $100 there, whereas it's $1,000 on mainnet.
Okay. Do you think that is even maybe too much? Because base has like such fast finalization and I don't know if that's even true, but just low rates.
Yeah, I think it's just a function of gas fees. I don't know, $100 seems fine. I don't know if there's much gain to decreasing it much more, I guess if you're really doing like a very, your R token's gonna be very low scale, it's not really gonna get above a few $100,000, then maybe you'd want to set a lower min trade volume. But yeah, have any actually happened yet here? No, I see not yet.
And that was my entire question, was maybe we could even run some on high yield USD on base with this new system. And yeah.
I don't think this particular bot that has been written actually does revenue auctions yet. It just needs a small change to do the revenue auctions. Let's see, how would that work? I think you'd want to buy the R token out of a pool since there's no flash loan liquidity for it. So you'd flash loan something else. You'd flash loan like USDC, trade it for, let's suppose it were, tradable against high yield USD in a pool. I think there's not. Yeah, you trade it for EUSD and then for high yield USD. Anyway, route from the flash loan token you get to the R token, sell the R token to the protocol, walk out with whatever the protocol was selling, which would be one of these 3 or 2 tokens that are in high yield USD on base, which is a Compound V3 token and a Stargate token, both USDC based. All this can happen for base as well. Just a small sophistication of the script to be able to make it to do revenue tokens instead of revenue auctions instead of rebalancing auctions.
Does this system get you one step closer, like the team, to, because the reserve team is kind of like, well, we want to build a platform and make it so that people have all the tools available to them to realistically run it, on their own without the reliance of the reserve team. Do you think that this system really kind of seals up a major chapter in that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I want to be clear, it doesn't solve it entirely. There's actually sort of a very fundamental element to the V1 protocol that makes it so that there's always going to need to be someone who presses the initial button to start sort of the domino of auctions. That very first one always is going to need someone to choose to pay for that transaction on their own. This does a lot in that it doesn't require anyone to move it along after that first one. And this is something we're thinking through in our V2 designs currently. How do we make it so that even that first auction start doesn't need someone to come press the button? You can just sort of take revenue out of the system by sending transactions yourself anytime. But I don't want to dwell on how it's insufficient at the moment. Like the way that we have just like made a big gain by removing all of the other friction after that first auction start. So the idea is someone could come to an R token, hit start auctions, and just sit back and watch the MEV searchers take it all the way to completion.
Do you envision that this is going to be like a healthy enough ecosystem of people going out and looking for R token profit to capitalize on? How about this? Here's what I'm asking is like, do you envision something like what Larry made for Zaps, somebody to make it for R tokens, this Dutch auction system, kind of like bundling that into Register or something akin to that, for auctions, kind of getting them going and ongoing.
Yeah, I don't think we need to do that. I think like if we just look at how MEV searchers are, they're like super cutthroat in looking for profit. Someone on the team wrote a very simple arbitrage bot for arbing the price of an R token on Curve against sort of issuance redemption in the core protocol, right? And like the first time that we ran that, like an MEV searcher picked up the whole strategy, copied it, and now they're running with it. So they really they just need to be shown how to do it once, basically. And someone needs to decide that it's like worth it for them to take that into their main flow But yeah, I don't think this is something that's really worth trying to make normal people or even like code savvy but non MEV searcher types. I don't think it's really worth tapping into them. I think you just go let the MEV searchers handle it entirely. Yes, you do have to wait a certain amount of time for that ecosystem to build up around you, but we know the channels that we are going to go to sort of spread the word that, hey, there's this opportunity here, free money, who wants it? Here's an initial bots that you can use, modify it. And I'm pretty optimistic that they're going to take it from there.
Okay, that's a good answer to the question. I was not aware of how aggressive people were. So
it's crazy. Third auction just cleared. Now we're at 68% backed or rebalanced.
It's actually the fourth one.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you for answering all my questions, Taylor. I'm going to get out of here, and you guys have a nice night.
Yeah, of course. It's going to go a while. Yeah, you too.
So did you say it was at 60%?
The backing amount? I'm seeing 68.
Okay, so basically it's about 17% per auction right now.
Sorry, this is the backing, not the progression through the auctions. So it's like, I thought it started at 51, and I thought we've seen 3 clear. This is the 4th that's ongoing, but either way.
Right, that's correct. I just counted the initial start of the auctions as well.
And then I guess at the end, it's going to break it into more finely grained auctions as it's like deliberate about which token it's getting. So how many did you say? 9 auctions is what you think?
Yeah, around 9 or 10 when I was testing, but back then we had a bit more TVL, so
yeah, maybe less. Cool.
Could be that we...
Not so bad. I was kind of worried the auction length would be way too long, but even at this length, we're talking about getting through those 9 auctions in like just over 2 hours, right? So it's actually pretty fine.
Yeah.
It's rebalancing a whole R token.
This used to take a whole day.
Yeah, for sure. The not only a whole R token, the biggest R token by a large margin. Wow, I didn't realize how low staker yield had fallen. Yeah, tons of people are staking. Wow. Yeah. If they didn't touch the maximum trade amount, which is currently $1 million for all these R tokens. But yeah, that's right. I guess let's see what a $200 million market cap R token. And let's say it trades half its backing, just like USD is doing here. Well, let's do the whole thing. That's 200 auctions. And if they clear at minute 16, then that's like 50 hours roughly. Yeah, so just about 2 days. Yep. Once you're getting up to the billion range, I definitely think you should move beyond that 1 million max trade size. But also there's an upper limit to what the market can bear in terms of liquidity. So I don't know how much headroom there is there, but probably going from 1 million to 5 million, would make a big difference. I'd love to be at that point of dealing with that problem. Yeah.
I think it would probably be better to just decrease the auction length instead of increasing the clip size.
Tricky though, because it results in more slippage. They both do. But yeah, hard to know which one's better, huh? I wouldn't be surprised if at some point in the future the price curve changes slightly to allocate more time to the more fine-grained phase 3 where stuff actually clears, and then you could reduce the auction length after that. Yeah, I guess we'll have to do some post-analysis of how much slippage our tokens are seeing in the wild when MEV searchers are trading against them, and that'll inform whether, decreasing the auction length makes sense. It's a cool analysis for someone to do. Probably like a month from now or something, once the searchers are participating. Yeah.
It's just that if you make many small trades, it's a bit easier for the market to kind of like arbit away.
Mm-hmm.
So each trade would probably have a smaller slippage than like offloading like $5 million into the market a month. So
yeah, that does seem right. Yeah, and I guess back to Smendy's question, the relevant piece would be like, how much do you realistically expect to default and need to be traded very quickly, right? And answers there are probably like 25%, 50% on the high end. But yeah, if USDC were to default again, that would be half of USD's backing. They would need trading. So that'd be a full 24 hours of trading in that world of the $200 million market cap. Honestly, seems fine to me. Yeah, like that seems like a realistic timeline to me. Default detections on the same kind of period scale. 24 hours. So seems fine to sort of have 2 of those. Current accumulated revenue is showing negative right now. How is that possible? Oh, because it's taking account it's taking account the hole it's trying to fill in that calculation. Noting.
There's also some small rounding errors in the Dutch auction UI.
I posted about that one. Yeah. Not enough decimals being used, right?
I actually suggested multiple times that like if we do pick that 40 decimals is the smallest amount we want to show, then instead of showing 0, we should like show less than 1,000.
I like that. Yep.
By the way, it seems like the gas price or the transaction cost per auction is about $300. So
Yeah, it's a
in a
lot.
realistic setting, that would probably the minimum margin a MEV searcher would be waiting for.
Yep. So let's see, $300 out of $1 million.
That's around zero. It's around like the Uniswap slippage, right? 50 bips.
Yeah,
so
I think so. 30?
30 bips.
3 bips, right? What is
No,
this? 3 bips, yeah.
That's pretty good.
Pretty good. Yeah. Yeah. That indicates to me that we should, our token governors can consider increasing the max trade volume above 1 million pretty easily. Doesn't seem like it'll incur too much slippage. I guess not to, we have to do a whole nother calculus around liquidity. Yeah.
I mean, other trades do increase like the margin for MEV searchers, so it could probably also lead to better prices. Like they would trigger their trades earlier rather than waiting a few more blocks. So yeah, there's a bunch of
I see.
factors here.
So your bot's going to burn through like 2.5 ETH at the end of this, huh?
Yeah, I think so.
Ultrasound money.
Doesn't help that I kind of wasted $300 on a mispriced transaction at the start.
So no one's front running you. Interesting.
I'm not making any profit, so I don't think anyone is interested in it.
I guess, yeah, they're seeing that donation. Yeah, okay.
I can imagine if we did code this to actually attempt to make a profit, then somebody could try to snipe it.
That's cool. We should do that for the next auctions. Get them in there. Yeah. All right. Bid's about to happen, yeah?
Yeah, it's really close.
Are you able to share just that terminal window while you still use your computer usefully?
Oh, yeah, sure. I mean, the only reason I turned off is because I didn't think anyone wanted to see anything anymore.
No. I think it's really nice to have some sort of central thing for attention to be on.
Sure. I wasn't doing anything interesting anyway. So price is almost at 1. That's when we trigger.
This is 2.5 BIP drops, I think. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Right, because there's a loss from just like randomness that's half of whatever this drop is. So 1.25 on average. And that's in addition to the 3 bips the MEV searcher gets paid that is overall like lost by the protocol. Like in expectation, the MEV searcher makes money from this imprecision. There we go. Here we go. Also, what kind of gas prices are these bids at?
I think I'm just paying market rate. Plus 12%.
Plus 12. Okay, cool. All right, 73% backed.
So I donated 19,000 compound USDC. So what's that?
It's about $380, I think.
Yeah.
All right, bid incoming. Or I guess a bit longer, huh? Yeah.
Yeah, probably like another 3 minutes. But I think we need to clear another 4 auctions in total, if my math is correct.
All right, next block.
Yep. I actually think I triggered this like 1 block late compared to what would be optimal. But
really? Seemed right to me. No?
Yeah, I think I could actually already send the transaction on this block. Because then
oh, yeah, duh. Yeah, gotcha.
So if anyone is taking
if anyone wants to front run.
there's some $3 to be made.
Okay, backing 79%.
All right, I'm gonna stop the stream now, but I'm just gonna finish up the auctions, and I'm heading to bed.
Cool. Last auction was really small. Is that right?
No, I think there's gonna be like 1 more big auction and 2 small ones. So it's gonna be like another hour approximately before it's finished.
Oh, I had my numbers wrong. Sorry. It went from 85 to 90. Okay, cool. Yeah, never mind.
Yeah.
Got it. Yep, cool. Let us know if anything pops up, but I will be here watching the recollateralization ratio.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I'm just gonna let my computer run. So
yeah, cool. Sounds good.
All right, yes.
Cheers.